Good morning. I hope you all are doing very good today. It's a beautiful day out there, gorgeous day. My name is Xiomara Rodriguez. I welcome you this morning. Okay. Maybe that works a little bit better. Huh? Okay. I welcome you all to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Northern Nevada, where it is our mission to grow together in love, faith, justice, and joy. I will be serving as your worship associate this morning. I would like to remind you all that we are meeting in the ancestral lands of the Bayou, the Shawnees, and Washoe tribes, and we must be mindful and profound to the dead of our indigenous brothers and sisters. As we celebrate everyone's Father's Day, those men and sometimes women who are the father figures in our life, and it might be good to remember that it takes a man gentleness and patience, strength and compassion to be a fine example of fatherhood. I would like to welcome you all here, no matter where you are today. If inside the sanctuary or on the Zoom waves, hi Zoom, we are glad you're here and we welcome you here. If this is your first time here, we are glad that you're here. If this is your 150th time here, we are also very glad that you're here. Remember that you can sign up for our newsletter. There's a yellow card in the back of the chairs, in the chairs in front of you. You can fill those out. We would like to ask all of you to respect the choices of people that continue to distance, practice open communication with one another, be intentional about honoring persons' boundaries. To those of you on Zoom, you know the drill. We will keep you muted during the whole service, and you could put your comments in the chat box. Also, remember, after the service, for you people on Zoom, coffee time. Don't miss it. So wherever you are today, let's sit back and enjoy the day. We welcome you here. Now, before we greet one another, in the back there, there's a white piece of paper that looks something like this, which is for your joys and sorrows. Fill it out. I will be standing over here. Bring it to me so we could have it during our joys and sorrows. So now, please take a moment to greet one another in whichever way is more comfortable to you. A hug, a handshake, a wave, an elbow bump, a fist bump. And if you're on Zoom, you can wave to one another or make the comments on the chat box. I will ring the bell when it's time for us to start back. Go. So before we continue, there are a couple of announcements. And this is very important. So, like I tell my great-grandkids, listen ears. Next Sunday, June 23rd, oh, thank you. No problem. Next Sunday, June 23rd, we're going to be live streaming the service from the Unitarian Universalist Association General Assembly. This means that we will begin our service at 10 a.m. next week. Okay, put it in your calendars. Next week, 10 a.m., not 10:30, or you're going to be late. So 10 o'clock, come on in. We're going to be streaming the service, and we will join them that way, okay? David?
Thank you, Xiomara. So I'd like to ask a question. How many here remember the old hand crank? They were wooden, usually ice cream makers. Yeah, remember those? Or you put mix in a cylinder and then you had little ice and salt and around that tub. And then while I was growing up, and even after I became an adult and then eventually a father, my dad was the ice cream maker. And so when I was young, it was my job to keep adding salt. And the more we added, the colder the mix would get, and until it would start to get hard. And as I got older, I would become one of the crankers. And I'd turn and turn that paddle until I could turn no more. And now, you might think the ice cream was ready, but no. When all the young people would crank, my dad, who was a very strong man, would take over when we stopped and keep on cranking and cranking. So we knew when he was done that ice cream would be solid. Well, today, very few of us ever make ice cream with a hand crank. You know, if we make ice cream at all, it's an electric unit. But mostly, we simply now go to the store and buy containers that are already done for us. So that's what the worship associates have done. And so we're ready to serve you as soon as the service is over. So we look forward to slurping ice cream with you. Here I am again. Well, as you all know, we've been doing a little history project to celebrate our 65th anniversary. And we've been doing little segments of our past history. So today, Sandy Young's going to share with us a particular transition point. Sandy, come on up.
Good morning. It's great to be here. I hope, am I okay in the speaker? Okay. I'm here to finish these little segments of history, and I've noticed they've gotten shorter and shorter as we've gone along, and this will be the shortest one. Promise. We're going to do a little time travel out of this beautiful building here. Now, I've never done any time travel, but I watched The Outlanders, and I've stood by the tree in Scotland where they said she landed, but I still have a wild imagination about how we're going to travel through time. So I'm going to ask you all to close your eyes and feel the hot air and wind as our roof and walls disappear, and we are going to plummet through the air, head over heels, eyes still closed, head over heels until thump. We are sitting in chairs. And when we open our eyes, we're going, what? Where are we? What are we doing? Well, it looks like a cafeteria, a school cafeteria? Oh, oh my gosh. We're in Swope Middle School. How did we get here? Why are we here? I thought we had just moved in to a beautiful little sanctuary on Del Monte, and we were doing fine and loving that and loving that. But suddenly, I find myself here. What happened? I got a light on that. I think our congregation started to grow, and suddenly, we didn't have enough room again. So, I'm going to take you back a little bit to the early 90s. And when in 1993, the congregation was given a lovely new building fund gift. And we started a fund called the Nicholson Building Fund, New Building Fund, a gift by Esther and Earl Nicholson, who are longtime members of the congregation. And they gave us a substantial bunch of money, and suddenly all the committees and people and dreamers and movers were suddenly enthused and said, well, why don't we every fall have an appeal for a new building fund, just like we have the pledge appeal in the spring. So over the years that happened, and by 1999 we have magically, really, about $250,000 in our new building funds. Wow. And what? We can't stop here. I mean, we are really chugging along, so what comes next? The movers and shakers said, well, why not a capital new fund, a building fund? So suddenly, with the help of the leaders in Boston, we are deciding to hold a capital campaign, and our goal is $600,000 more. We need that much more to even dream of putting a building on our lot, which was just our new little house, and most of the lot was just the trees and a few bushes and some flowers that had been planted. So here we are. The leaders decided we did it. Well, it's not a surprise because our congregation can do whatever we want to do. We just have to put our mind to it. So, through creative financing and something, the decision is made, we're going to build a new builder. So we go to San Francisco and we hire an architect. And in our congregation, 4 people, a 4-man team was set up to be to represent our congregation to the architects, to the local builders, and to the city. And whenever you build a new structure, there's all kinds of rules and regulations, and so our Miracle 4-man team worked with us for two years, and for 2 years, we are sitting here in Swope. Now, if you have your eyes closed and you can see a school cafeteria and maybe 40, 50, 60 of us in this, sitting in chairs, and in front of us we see a portable pulpit. We can hear the Sunday singers singing, and if we opened our eyes, we'd probably see a few familiar faces like Dave and Lois and Betty and some other people. But for 2 years, volunteers set up every Sunday, went into that cafeteria and put chairs out and put up the portable pulpit. And you wonder what kept those volunteers coming back Sunday after Sunday for 2 years. But it was our dream. The dream was the thing. They kept coming up and setting up at the chairs, but they were certainly wearily looking forward to moving into our new home. So, like all constructions, there were overruns, cost overruns, delays, but finally, in December of 2001, we got the word and we moved into the new building. Phase 1 was completed, but we were in a quagmire of debt. And thanks to a fantastic finance committee with creative planning and a miracle members gesture to help us finance, over many months, an affordable mortgage was worked out. Phase 2 was in the far distance, but it would add a kitchen and 2 offices and a fireside, which we still don't have. However, we are sitting comfortable with our new mortgage. Now, open your eyes again. Close them. And we're going to do a zoom. And now you can open them and look. Open with your eyes. Look around you. The windows, the trees in back, all of the gardens in the back. And I hope you see this home in a new light, with an understanding of the values and the foresight of all the volunteers and professional leaders who came before us and plunked us in these cushy chairs. It's time to celebrate our history, but it's also time to dream new dreams. How will we use these rooms that hold us and protect us? How will future generations use these rooms to connect with the community? How will they make plans and dreams to connect with the community, to work for a more just world for our children, our grandchildren, our neighbors? How will this look in our future? So dream, come to our party in November 16th, and bring some ideas. Think about these, about our places here. And perhaps when you walk in here for another service, your mind will go there and say, what's going to happen with us here? Thanks.
Thank you, Sandy. I was going to say I remember those days fondly, but that wasn't true. I wasn't fondly of the... So I open the service today with the words of Pamela Rumasick. Why community? To remember that one is not a whole number, that we need both roots and wings, that strength comes from relationships and mutuality, that we know life in and through one another. I'd like to call Xiomara up to light our chalice this morning. As I read the words of Peter Shemusky, may this flame we light remind us that every one of us can bring the light of love into the world. May this clear flame be a symbol that every heart can burn bright with joy, peace, and harmony. May the wisdom of ages speak to us through this flame and stay in us. Every one of us can be a blessing to the world. And now, I'd like to open with our first hymn, number 123, Spirit of Life. And Sarah, I think Sarah's going to lead, is that right? Thank you, Sarah. Sarah's going to lead us in singing Spirit of Life.
Way down here.
rise if you're willing or able. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Oh, in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life a shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Good morning. My name is Nathan Bakken. I use they, them pronouns, and I am the Director of Faith Exploration here at UUFNN. And you may have noticed on your program as you walked in, things are a little out of order. And that was intentional to bring our new members ceremony into the heart of our service. So as we move into this next time together, we are doing the amazing work of welcoming 12 new members to this community. 13. We have 13 new members joining our community today, and I would like to invite David Shirey up here to introduce them. And as he introduces you, I'm going to invite you. Our front is a little cluttered, so I'm going to invite you to kind of stand in front of the pulpit bit. Stand in front of this part. Okay, never mind.
Come on forward, please. You're going to stand between there and here. That way we can get you all on camera. Come on in. Come on in. Make 2 rows. Nope, come on in from the sides. Stand in front of the pulpit. Stand in front. We want to get you all on camera. Come on in. Come on in. And because we have such a large and lovely group, I'm going to introduce them, and if you would please hold your applause until I've introduced everybody. And my lovely assistant, Miss Sheila here, will hand out gifts as I do the introductions. Come on down. There you go. Everybody's on camera. Okay, first up is Lynn Baker. Please hold up your hand, Lynn. There you go. Lynn, no applause until the end. Yes, you can hand out the gift. Lynn Baker has been in Reno 19 years and came to UUFNN a year and a half ago. She enjoys singing in our choir, reading, pickleball, hiking, and eating out with friends, which can occasionally be a problem because she admits to having visual agnosia, which means trouble recognizing faces. But we'll help her with that, won't we? Welcome, Lynn. Next is Jessica Estes. Jessica Estes, also a member of our choir, who came to Reno in 2019 and joined UUFNN then. She is originally from Oregon and is looking for a better sense of community at UUFNN. Welcome, Jessica. Evan Garcia. This good-looking man in his suit and sunglasses who comes to us from Saginaw, Michigan. Evan has lived in Reno for 21 years, and a year ago he decided to check us out. He has proven to be an excellent greeter, and we look forward to finding more for him to do. Welcome, Evan. Next is, and I will slaughter his first name, so we call him Booney. Booney Gorsical, who has been coming to UUFNN for about 8 months and is looking for community, connection, family friendship, camaraderie, and support. And he has come to the right place. Welcome, Booney. Next is Carol Volmer Johnson. Carol Volmer Johnson has lived in Reno for 24 years and started attending UUFNN about a year ago. She is a pediatric pharmacist with 2 children, Zach, age 35, and Sarah, age 30. She admits to more stress in work and life at the moment, but we are going to help her with that. Welcome, Carol. Next is, hang on, I got to turn my page, Steve Norman. Steve grew up in the great state of Wyoming, but has now been in the Reno area for over 46 years. He is a retired teacher with a special interest in earth science, rocks, and minerals. He has a stated interest in learning more about UUFNN and helping out in any way he can, and those are good goals, Steve. Welcome. Next is, there she is, Elisa Sheldon. Elisa is a nurse by profession who worked in addiction counseling for over a decade. She moved to Reno in 2019 from Lubbock, Texas, and enjoys writing speculative fiction, short stories, and also dabbles in poetry. She both enjoys taking her dog, Bubba, on long hikes, and she hopes to find the time to join our choir in the future. Welcome, Elisa and Bubba. Next is Christine Silva. Christine Silva joined us in June of 2023 after living in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Central California. She teaches students with disabilities and autism and also enjoys pickleball, so we'll have to get her together with Lynn Baker. Welcome, Christine. Next is Nancy Thompson. Nancy Thompson has been in Reno for 13 years and coming to UUFNN for 9 months. She is a retired cybersecurity and privacy expert. She enjoys music, cooking, reading, and organizational leadership. And we're certainly going to take advantage of that last one. Welcome, Nancy. Next, turn my page. Eric Tonys. Am I pronouncing that right, Eric? Good. Tonys. Eric is a control system engineer with Redwood Materials, who also enjoys the outdoors and spending time with his friends and family. Eric says he's not sure how he would like to be involved at UUFNN, but I'm pretty sure that we can find some things for him to do. Am I right? Welcome, Eric. Next is Laura Watley. Laura Watley, who came to us just a month and a half ago and obviously liked what they saw here. They like spending time at the park with Birdie, 2 years old, going on nature walks, and visiting museums. By the way, Laura is good at how-to manuals, brochures, and spreadsheets, and we will certainly take advantage of that. Welcome, Laura. Next is Jen White. Jen White has been attending UUFNN, in her words, for a beautiful and grateful 8 months. Jen has been a med tech, a rehab counselor, and a conference coordinator, among other things. And, as she says in her bio, she enjoys sharing everything with everyone. Welcome, Jen. Lastly, there is Mark Wong. Mark comes to us most recently from Louisiana and has been a member of UUFNN since November. Are you already a member, Mark? Good. That's all right, you're official now. He works as a chemical engineer and plays at canoeing, biking, scuba diving, hiking, dancing, and more. We are excited to give Mark a formal welcome into the fellowship, so welcome, Mark, and welcome, everybody.
This really is a day of celebration. And before I invite you all to take your seats, we have a tradition here to both formally welcome our new members, as well as you've heard many times and you'll hear more in the future, Unitarian Universalism is a covenantal religion, which means we don't have dogma, we don't have a creed for you to say, I believe X, Y, Z, but we are a religion built out of relationship. We're built out of shared commitment for social justice, for change. So we'll have, in this next portion of our ceremony, our congregation will have a moment to welcome all of you, and you will have a response, which you'll be able to see on that screen there. And if you need a copy of the words, I have a copy. And after the formal welcome, there is then an invitation for our new members to recite the covenant of UUFNN, which we'll have on the slide, so that screen as well as the big one, of just saying our aspirations of how we aspire to be in relationship with one another. And so I'll invite our tech team to bring up the congregational welcome on the screen. This is a day of celebration for all of us. We know that you did not come to the decision to join our community lightly, and I ask the members of this congregation, will you now welcome these new members, and in doing so, enlarge the circle of community and embrace the gifts they bring? We do. Repeat after me. We do. We not only welcome you, but also promise to nurture your new beginnings with our friendship and support. With eagerness and expectation, we look forward to work alongside you. We promise to care for you through courtesy, acceptance, respect, and engagement. And now I invite our new members, and we'll just keep the repeat after me train going. Please repeat after me. We accept your welcome, eagerly and with enthusiasm. We bring our gifts and talents at this time and to this place. We look forward to being co-creators with you of this community. Okay. And now for our new members, I invite our whole congregation to renew our covenant alongside our new members. So I invite us all to read this together. We aspire to build a democratic community that is based on trust, transparency, and open communication. Be a present in the moment and listen to each other with honesty and compassion. Be good examples to our children in their lifelong journey of discovery and meaning. Respect individual lifestyles in accepting atmosphere of love. Stand against racism and nurture a culture within UUFNN that is welcoming and safe for everyone. Be mindful of our own biases and show consideration for our words and actions. Affirm and practice the UU principles in our daily lives. Stay informed about our fellowship and be reliable stewards to ensure that we continue to grow in love, faith, justice, and joy. Honor all expressions of spirituality. create a nourish and balance between spirituality and social justice. And in the words of our covenant, we welcome these 13 new members to this community. I invite us to applaud, and you're welcome to go sit down. It is only natural that we move from a moment of celebration into our time of joys and sorrows. So I want to invite us all to find a posture that is grounding and centering for you. Take a moment to settle into your seat. Maybe that means placing both feet on the floor, leaning back into your chair, closing your eyes or softening your gaze. And as you settle, I invite you to take 3 intentional breaths. These can be as deep or as shallow as you need in this moment. Give yourself the space to breathe. In our community this morning, we have an array of joys and sorrows. As we read these aloud, I invite us to do the messy work of holding the joy and sorrow simultaneously. One is not more important than the other, and we need to feel both to live in this world. We lift up Leah Case, whose friend and neighbor Lois passed on May 27th. We also lift up Leah and her family as their dog, Chonkleton Chonk, passed away on June 16th. We lift up Lynn Baker and her son, Benjamin. Her son is heading off to grad school in Boston in a week, and we lift up the joy of this next endeavor. We want to extend a celebration of happy birthday to Kathleen Burton, whose birthday is tomorrow. And we lift up with Nancy Ann Leader the joy that her and her 10-year-old great-grandson had an amazing camping trip to Lassen Park and Manzanita Lake this past week. And as we come to this time together as a community, we lift up our joys and our sorrows. We lift up the fullness of our human experiences in community where we trust one another to hold us in the pain and to celebrate with us in the joy, and that we are a community that can do many things. So to bring our time to a close, I invite us to take one deep breath, and on the exhale, I invite you to sigh and make a sound. I invite you to do it one more time. Our breath is always the first blessing our body's able to give the world. And may, in the collective breath of this community, may we move forward to carry our joys and sorrows together. Amen. Blessed be, and namaste.
And now, Sarah, you're going to lead us in number 128, For All That Is Our Life.
I have to pull this down every time. Good morning. Stand if you are able and are willing.
For all that is our life, a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks for all that is our life. For sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain, and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks for all that is our life. For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad.
So it was a cold, wintry night, and I met up with one of my friends when I came home from the University of Nevada for a weekend with my folks in Fallon. We took off in his car. We drove to town where we had a chance to have a few beers. And it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and he was bringing me home. And at our ranch, there was a long driveway into the house, and it had wooden fences on both sides of the driveway. But it had been snowing, and the snow had turned to ice, and when he turned the corner, he hit the ice, and the car careened and went through the fence and then sideways into the ditch. I told my friend, we first checked, make sure we were okay, and I said, okay, let's just go in the house and go to sleep, and we'll deal with this later. At 5 a.m., my dad was shaking me out of my grogginess, and all he said was, Dave, we've got some fence to fix. That was my dad. Calm, very seldom raising his voice or chastising any of us, a man of few words. But he also loved to dance and have fun. And, you know, he and my mom were hardworking people doing the best they could. They raised 4 children. And then, when they were in their 50s, they adopted my half-brother's 4 children and raised them too. So he was a father, a grandfather, and then a father/grandfather to a whole nother generation of kids. So just within my family, I saw different kinds of dads. And as I continue to age and observe and continue to learn, especially through the Unitarian Universalist Church, I came to realize and appreciate that there are many types of dads. Let me just list a couple that I'm aware of. There was a program on television when I was growing up called Father Knows Best. Remember that? That father was a wise voice of reason, a thoughtful father. Unfortunately, there are also fathers who are absent from their children's lives, or even worse, maybe even abusive or controlling. But life can take unforeseen twists where, a father may be divorced or may or may not be part of their children's family lives. There's a single father who may have lost their mate, or stepdads where the result may be positive, maybe not. In today's world, children can have two dads raising them. Or maybe they have a stay-at-home dad, which was pretty much unheard of when I was young. Again, through Unitarian Universalism, I've learned not to be judgmental about different lifestyles that exist. Roles between fathers and mothers have changed dramatically, even from the dates of Lois's and my marriage 60 years ago. In some cultures, not much has changed. The female subservient to the male. I always wondered why someone would want all that responsibility. Having to make all the decisions, having to escort your spouse if she wants to go somewhere outside the home. And if you look at religious history, a lot of the world religions put men in charge, even all the way in how they view God. I mean, in most religions, the prayers are to the Father in heaven, and then this God is supposed to answer jillions of prayers and requests for help. Wow, that's a lot of responsibility. Well, in the early chapters of the Bible, there was a whole lot of begetting going on as well. So I kind of like our culture where women are taking more and more responsibility. I think fathers have it a whole lot easier today. Even when Father's Day was established, first in the state of Washington, and then that was around 1910, and then it went national, gaining official recognition in 1972. A lot of men at the time said it's not necessary, since it was the moms who were underappreciated. I happen to agree with that. But, the two holidays complement each other. I mean, it spreads out the expense for the kids. Buying gifts and cards in May for mom, and then more gifts and cards for dad in June. And I do believe that our ancestral lineage helps shapes our own personalities. My paternal grandfather was a very kind and generous person, and apparently an excellent orator. My dad was the same. Well, minus the orator part. I hope and I try to emulate those two in my interactions with my kids and grandkids. Between Lois and I think we turned out to have 3 wonderful children who in turn produced some great grandchildren. And so there's still a lot of begetting going on. Well, Father Time is clicking away, and we really want to get to the ice cream. So I'm going to close for now, and I wish all the fathers here today and on Zoom a happy Father's Day. So may it be, and amen.
I need to get to the ice cream too. As we approach the time for our offering, give what you will for the church that has meant so much to you, for the church that meant so much to those that came before you, and for the church that will mean so much for the people you will never know. Give what you will, for it will be for you are generous people. For those physically here, the basket will be passed. For those on Zoom, you can do the offering virtually by texting 73256, putting UUFNN on the message box and hit send. There we go. Then follow the instructions. Also, you could mail a check to the office to 780 Del Monte Lane, Reno, Nevada. Here at UUFNN, each month, we also give the folks the opportunity to share our generosity with the share designated nonprofit. The Share the Play recipient for June is Life is Worth. Its founder, it's Emma White. Emma was recently named USA Today's 2024 Women of the Year for the state of Nevada in recognition of her commitment and accomplishment in the area of suicide prevention. Emma is here with us today. Emma, would you please come forward and talk to us about your organization?
I'm a little taller, so I'm just gonna, if not, I'll just, it's good? Okay. Well, thanks so much. I know I only have like 3 minutes. I don't want to delay the ice cream social, so I could talk really for 3 hours because I do that professionally in many areas of my life. And always just, so I'm always like, I'm so thankful for the award and recognition. I'm like, how'd you find that out? So thank you. My name's Emma White, and thank you for choosing us to be the nonprofit partner this month. I am the founder and president of the Life is Worth It organization. I am so sorry that I wasn't able to attend the last 2 weekends. Just feel awful about it. I had a death in my family, so I've been dealing with it the last few weeks. So I'm happy to be here today. Our mission with the Life is Worth It organization is to educate youth and our communities on what we like to call total life wellness to help prevent suicide. And I don't know, was there something said last week about me, maybe? Okay, cool, so I don't need to say all that. But basically, if you weren't here and didn't hear that, my passion for this work comes from my own lived experience. I survived suicide when I was 15 years old. I'm a born and raised Nevadan. I went to McQueen High School. Anybody went to McQueen in here? Yes. I never have anybody ever that I meet that went to McQueen. So yes, I graduated McQueen, but I struggled with bullying and depression and anxiety in 2010. It's a very different world than what we live in now, and many of us know and are aware of things that are going on with our youth and the trauma and the stress and the bullying and the suicide. And so that's where my passion comes from in this. So I wanted to provide the education to youth that I didn't have when I was growing up. And so what we do is we provide programs, workshops, and curriculum to help youth understand all of the aspects of their health and how each aspect works together to not only help prevent suicide across the lifespan, but to give them the tools that they need to navigate life. And I will say, outside of this role, I work for the state of Nevada. I'm actually the statewide youth suicide prevention coordinator. And so I eat, sleep, and breathe this work. But there are gaps in our health education, and so that's where we come in. Anybody ever heard of the CDC's 8 dimensions of wellness? Anybody heard of it? Okay, I won't make you say them all. But there's a lot of them, and every single one of them is important to our health. But most of us don't ever learn about all of those dimensions of our health, and they all work together. Because suicide ultimately is about pain and wanting to end pain and feeling like there's no way out of that pain. And pain comes from a lot of different things. It could be physical, mental, social, emotional, financial, digital. And so at Life is Worth It, that's what we do, is we educate youth and their communities. So families, caregivers, providers, schools, so that they have this education. The last thing I'll say is that we are super excited to be working and implementing on a first-of-its-kind comprehensive high school health curriculum. It is a really big dream, but we are trying to change the landscape of health education in Nevada and hopefully in the United States. So if you want to learn a little bit more about what we're doing, you can go to lifeisworthit.org. And I just appreciate you guys listening to me, and I wish I could stay for the ice cream social, but I have to celebrate my own father. So if you have any questions, you're welcome to reach out to me on the website, lifeisworthit.org, and I'll get back to you. And thank you so much. I hope you all have a wonderful day.
Now let the offering begin. Now, could you please help me bless these offerings with David to the work of this fellowship, which is helping more people grow in love, faith, justice, and joy. We dedicate ourselves, and these are offerings.
Before Dave comes up to close our service, I just want to make a quick announcement. For our 13 new members who just joined our fellowship today, I want to invite you, before you run off to go get ice cream, I ask that you stay in the sanctuary so you can sign our membership book. So I will be, after the service, up here next to this table, so if you just joined, I invite you to stop by and sign the membership book before you leave today. Thank you.
Looked like the candle extinguished itself. Magic. So this chalice is extinguished, but its light lives on in the minds and the hearts and souls of each one of us. Let us carry the flame with us and share with those we know, with those we love, and most especially with those we have yet to meet. And now let's do our closing hymn, 359, When We Are Gathered. I close with the words of John Morgan. In the end, it won't matter how much we have, but how generously we have given. It won't matter how much we know, but rather how well we live. And it won't matter how much we believe, but how deeply we love. Amen. South End.